When you see a chasing arrow symbol, it's easy to assume that the product is recyclable, but that is not always the case. The chasing arrow symbol is actually a plastic resin identification code, not a promise that an item could be recycled. Manufacturers could put this symbol on their products even if the item is not recyclable in most communities. This practice undermines the circular economy and creates confusion for consumers. So, what exactly is the circular economy and what is wish cycling? A circular economy is a regenerative system designed to eliminate waste by keeping products, materials, and resources in use for as long as possible. It emphasizes smart design, durability, reuse, and repair. Wish cycling, on the other hand, happens when well-intentioned consumers toss non-recyclables into the recycling bin, hoping they'll be recycled. Unfortunately, this contamination disrupts sorting facilities and leads to more waste. With chasing arrows being allowed on products that are not recyclable, the act of wish cycling has increased. People put non-recyclables in the bin, like bowling balls, garden hoses, or even half-drinking bottles of soda that can ruin an entire bale of papers, hoping they'll be recycled. In reality, contamination levels are rising, turning loads of resources back into trash that goes into the landfill. Starting at the curb, recycling collectors act as a first line of defense in a massive industrial chain. For a driver, managing route density involves hundreds of stops per shift. The job is a race against time and requires consistent visual inspections. They often have to make split decision calls, like if a bin looks too contaminated with food or trash, they may leave it behind because one bad bin could ruin an entire truckload. This pressure increases significantly with the shift to single-stream recycling. While letting residents toss all paper, plastic, and glass into one bin makes it easier for us to participate, it shifted a massive burden onto the collectors and the machines. Now the truck isn't just carrying recyclables, it's carrying a chaotic mix that requires intense sorting and decontamination the moment it hits the facility's floor. Once a truck tips its load into the material recovery facility, the waste moves through a high-speed mechanical gauntlet designed to separate resources from refuse. The process begins with vibrating screens that shake out heavy glass and flat cardboard, followed by powerful magnets that pull steel cans and flick aluminum off the belt. The most advanced stage involves optical sorters, which uses light to identify plastic resin in milliseconds, triggered by precision air jets that shoot items into its designated bins. However, technology has its limits. Standing along the fast-moving conveyor belts, human spotters act as a final critical filter, their hands moving with practiced speed to pluck out tanglers like garden hoses or plastic bags that could cause an entire facility's gears to come to a stop. These workers are the unrecognized heroes of the material recovery facility during loud, dusty environments to manually intercept non-recurable mistakes that sensors and magnets inevitably miss. Their presence is a reminder that, though machines are impressive, the system still relies on a human eye to ensure smooth running. The industrial choreography ends at the baler, where loose materials are crushed into 1,000-pound cubes of raw material, ready to be sold and reborn into new products. Recycling isn't a magic wand. It's a high-stakes manufacturing process that begins at your curb and ends at the factory. Every step, from the driver's split decision choices to the high-tech sensors at the sorting facility, depends on the purity of the material that we provide. By knowing before we throw, we stop just being consumers and start becoming the first step in closing the loop.